Hello, everybody. I won't say the grapevine.
It is the James and Ori show.
It's the James and Ori show.
What it is not is the grapevine.
Yes.
It's certainly not the grapevine. It's the James and Ori show. And we are back again this week.
Yes, James, Silas, and Oris.
Yes. First things first. If you've been online, I think last week, you probably have seen or heard about the thing about, or if you've actually been on, it's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, Netflix,
yes. You've seen you've heard that there's been a film based, or is it inspired by, based on the Alu 4 story from years ago, as done by the media mogul Linda Ikeji. And there's been a lot of reactions as to concerning, like, mostly about the legitimacy of her taking that story, which, as you can imagine, for some people is a super personal story, at least for the families of the 4 boys that were killed. So taking that and then making mass entertainment, I guess, out of that story. For some people, it doesn't seem quite right. But I think for some other people, the question has been, is this even legal? To have that. Neither of us here is a lawyer. I don't know if James has gone to take night school, but I don't think any of us is a lawyer. But what we have is a perspective on the entertainment industry itself and how it supposedly works. To my mind, there's been lots and lots of stories of like this. Maybe not in Nigeria, but especially in Hollywood, in Europe as well, where a story in the public domain is taken and adapted and eventually released to the public, with or without, to be honest, the permission of the people who were involved in it. In fact, if I remember clearly, there is a story, I think the one with, also on Netflix, by the way, I think it's the Anna Delvey one, the one with the lady who was a con artist.
Yeah.
The person who actually had, whose permission was taken, was the person who wrote the story for, was it Bloomberg or for the Cuts or for the New York magazine? I can't remember. And I think Jessica Pressler. So anyway, the fact of the matter was that was the person who was, I guess, paid. Maybe the publication as well also was paid, and then with her permission, not the actual subject of the story. So from a cinematic history, it has been done. But I've heard all kinds of arguments given online and offline even about the thing. So, that's my. I think what is important is, can they tell the story with care? I don't know.
Can they, or did they in this case?
Yes. Okay. So no, I want to say, even before it even came out, they really the question is usually like, can they tell the story with care? And then in this case, since the film is out, did they? You've seen it. What do you think?
So I think, like Ori said, it's even from the marketing of the movie itself. It's supposed to be a reenactment of what happened 2012, I think, the Alu 4 killing in Port Harcourt. So I agree with the fact that some things, or a story that is in public domain, can be, people can make movies and stuff out of it. I also feel like Linda did what she had to do. But there was a part even before the movie came out where I don't know how true it is, and we've not had any conversation with the parties involved, where I saw or I read that Linda reached out to the family, or maybe informed them that she was going to release a movie, and then where they were trying to put an injunction or trying to tell her not so, or maybe when news about the movie coming out went public, and the family, through either a lawyer or human rights activist, reached out to Linda telling her not to release the movie. So even I was on fingers crossed, thinking that, okay, will the movie be released? Is there an injunction? Is there a problem? And then boom, the movie went live on Netflix. Now I was researching even after the movie had come out, and I saw a couple of other things on the internet. I didn't watch. I don't know if they were. I saw some Nollywood posters showing, or also, around the same story, the same Alu 4 story. Now, for me, I saw Linda's defense, or maybe what she posted later, maybe when after the movie had come out, and they probably wrote her, maybe the lawyers wrote her, or or human rights. I don't know who wrote her, but she was trying to explain, or maybe telling them that they're just backing and that they will meet in court if they so decide. So she was saying that the story was in public domain, yes, that even the word or the phrase "alufor" was coined by her when she reported and when she broke that news in 2012. And then also claimed that she did not use alufor, but yes, she used aku for or aku or for the village. She did not say aku for. They did not actually say aku for, but they said aku as against alu. So there are differences that was a few things that she said they did. They did not use any of the family members. But later, she was saying that she didn't use that. She added flesh to the, or maybe the. Let me just say she added flesh to the story by adding family members and stuff. And then I saw a report, old report, where, as shown in the movie, where one of the family members or sisters of the slain youth was part of the crowd, telling them that he's my brother, don't, that's a report that I saw later this year, but was reported way back then. So if the world leader is saying that she didn't use family members and stuff, I don't know, maybe it's not clear to me. But bottom line is that it's a very sensitive story. I feel like Linda tried to address jungle justice at a time like this, even though we don't really have a lot of it happening again. I don't know if tongue in cheek, saying that we don't have a lot of jungle justice happening these days.
It's not true. It's not true. We had the one that happened Lagos here, actually. Funny. Lekki, practically near the gates, according to what the report said.
Okay.
With the guy who they said was a instrumentalist or like a musician in the church.
Okay.
Who was allegedly lynched by a bunch of motorcycle riders.
Okay.
And the police
did
were
he
supposed
steal?
to be nearby. No, they said there were, so as always with this kind of things, there were different kinds of things. There were different reports, but I think one of the ones I heard was there was an argument over change or amount of money to pay the bike man, and before you know it, things kind of escalated. And even though there was the police nearby, they couldn't or they didn't stop it.
Okay, that's still jungle justice, but sometimes we from the streets we just look at jungle justice from the perspective of somebody stole, they caught the person, and then decided to throw tire and burn the person.
Okay, yeah,
but sometimes conflict, fighting.
Yes. You are not wrong. So this case wasn't a case. So it was like some people are now saying the guy was involved in some kind of bad stuff. It was all kinds of stories, to be honest. But my point is that largely is that kind of thing where a supposedly little issue just keeps climbing. Did a very short period of time, and then somebody gets killed. So I don't know if I would say that the Alu4 issue that happened in real life affected the way people go about like inflicting instantaneous justice on other people. But I do know that yes, this thing happened relatively recently and not in a closed or like in a rural area. In bloody Lekki here, which is one of our highbrow areas in Lagos. So I don't know. So for me, the real question about this is, I was seeing the film and then I stopped it after a while. I just want such a story to be to be told with care. But I also feel like the question now is, if this was my family member, one of the boys who was killed, would I want
How would you
this?
feel?
Yes, would I want this?
I don't even want to be reminded of it. This is like over 10 years after the incident.
Yeah.
So so it might not be criminal, it might not be criminal offense.
Yeah.
But I think that morally or sentimentally, I just feel like Linda blocked out every sense of empathy, and maybe not empathy. What's the word I'm looking for? Every sense of emotion in still bringing it out, whether the family will feel bad about it or if the family will feel funny about it or not. She just went ahead, focused on the business, even where she claimed to be. She claimed to be, trying to address a social issue, but the family didn't want it to come out like that. They didn't want to see. They didn't want to be reminded of it. I just feel like putting that movie out would have just, messed up everything for them. I don't know how well the movie would have done for her eventually at the end of the day, even on Netflix, if it did well or whatever. But I just feel like truly, it felt somehow, and like you said, I would, if I was a family member of, I just don't think I want to be reminded in any way about what really
About what
happened.
happened.
Because even watching that thing, I can tell you that it felt somehow, it felt really, it just sort of brought back the thought, even if I wasn't there, the feeling. I just put myself in the position of,
I could
the-
never,
the-
I
it
could
was
never watch
bad.
that thing. Honestly, I could just when the footage came out back in the day. I could never watch it. I just said, you know what,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to watch this. So I don't know. I think eventually I would have to see the film.
The film, I mean,
You
out
know,
of
but-
curiosity for me,
yeah,
actually,
but,
out of curiosity.
But I know for a fact that if it was my family, I would really try to block all of that thing out. One, but I also know again that if I was in Linda's position, I don't know if that's kind of what I would want to use to start off my cinematic career.
Career, exactly.
But if you're,
Controversy.
but if you're thinking about on the level of like business and like to announce that you are now doing this,
Movies, yeah.
to be honest, we do not know how else. I can't figure out how else Linda would have made it clear that she was now in the business of like doing movies. Because this controversy has also helped you. I don't know that, for instance, it would get the requisite amount of views or whatever it is she's probably hoping for, or Netflix is hoping for, I don't know. And I don't know that if this came out in the cinemas, it won't do well. Because again, not a lot of the actors in it are famous. It's like a very, I saw the first 30 minutes of the about. It's a really low budget production. So I don't know, but even the director, it's not very popular. People know him in Hollywood, but he's not super popular. I think it's Tuka Magbaro. Anyway, so it means that this wasn't going to be the most commercially viable project. But on the level of controversy, we are talking about it here. Everybody who's going to watch this is going to know that Linda Ikeji is now doing movies. So it works for her on that level. And if she, as she kept saying, she's really interested in the idea of what happened and the social justice aspect of it, I can't begrudge her that.
So this is not trying to spoil, but if like she said, that it was based on true events, there are some things that were written at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
where she talked about the fate, or what's actually the justice that was meted out on the people that participated in that incident. I'm hoping that those were real, that those information at the end were real. So I mean, to an extent, justice was actually dealt, or was actually
It was.
served,
Yes, it was. I remember. Yeah.
So I mean, but that's by the way. Let's move on.
Yeah.
to
Let's
other,
move on.
More exciting.
More. Yes.
stories.
More.
Maybe not so exciting.
More.
but-
Yeah. More enlightened. More lightly. Yeah. Lighter stories.
Uh-huh.
Because this is a really heavy one.
So, but real quick, we're not going to waste time on this one. Yul Edochie playing Peter Obi in a new Nollywood.
That's the lightest thing we could possibly think of. That's pure comedy. I don't know if you guys have seen the clips. My goodness.
It was funny.
Nollywood is a very, very funny place. Not, there's all kinds of Nollywood, but this is specifically the one that goes on in the Great Asaba. It's a very,
YouTube, actually, for YouTube.
yeah, for real, okay, YouTube, it's just a very, I don't know, man. I don't know what to use, but it's just a very weird, funny,
Always.
opportunistic.
There you go.
Opportunistic
Always.
industry.
One person that I wouldn't have imagined would have. I don't want to say stoop low. Really.
You mean Yul?
You, like, how would
I don't
you
know.
come play a character? How much were you paid to come and play that kind of character? It was funny. It was ridiculous. Like,
But you actually said Stuplo because it's not like, to be honest, if you're thinking of Nollywood as two broad branches, the Asaba one and the one that takes place in our big screen here, you have to understand that Yul has never really belonged to the one that happens on the big screen. If anything, he's belonged to somewhere in between, or in fact fully with Asaba, and that's where his fame is from. So this is not entirely out of character, actually. It's true. This is not entirely out of character, to see something. It's just that the level of opportunism that's clear. One, the stark difference in everything between this man and this man. In fact, for me, it was just watching the thing. I mean, don't even, if, for instance, it was back in the day where you used to have like film adverts on radio, where you couldn't see it's not like you could see any visual or anything. You would just be like, wait, who is the person who is talking here, But yeah, I mean, just think about it. Yul Edochie playing Peter Obi. That his voice is as deep as God knows what.
Thank you, and trying to, do the characterize, or what's it called, bring the real Peter Obi's voice into character. Like you said, you has a really, really very deep voice. And then it was a struggle. Like, what is going on? What is wrong with you? Why did you take this character? Why didn't you just? And then he had to.
James asked a question that all of us know the answer.
It's
No, but James, think about it. In this life, money can do a lot of things.
Oh.
And like I said again, there's the fact of the money bit. There's also the fact of really it is Yul. Yul doesn't really belong to mainstream Nollywood that happens in the big budget Nollywood. It really belongs to the low budget Nollywood. So let's not think it's strange.
Are you saying
then
he's struggling actor?
No, but hey,
he's low budget.
no, no. He's an actor that has been in more low budget productions than high budget productions.
Okay.
For Nollywood level, because in Nollywood, to be honest, if you want to compare Nollywood to anywhere or to Europe or to Hollywood, everything in Nollywood is low budget. But in terms of the Nollywood comparison, where somebody was telling me one time,
so he has not what's it called? He has not progressed, or he has not
yes,
crossed to new Nollywood.
Let's not say progress.
He hasn't
exactly.
even done that.
He hasn't crossed to new Nollywood that is struggling to get international levels attention. Yes,
okay.
That is doing their best to like use certain kinds of techniques that makes them look more attractive on the big screen. A lot of
which is what happened to Chidi Mokeme recently.
Exactly. Yes.
He made that
but
statement,
but Chidi was always somebody who, even when the times were changing, when Yul was becoming a thing, both in terms of the big screen and even Netflix or the smaller whatever you even see, Chidi took kind of like a break.
Yes.
So you didn't really have Chidi feature in a lot of this thing. So what has happened now is Yul doesn't really belong to old Nollywood. Though. Yul actually technically is more like somebody who's in between, or like a new Nollywood person. Just that it's not a new Nollywood. If you think about new Nollywood as a place that happens because of budget, a higher budget, Yul doesn't belong in new Nollywood. But if you're thinking about it as a place of as time, Yul also doesn't belong in old Nollywood because it is his father that belongs there. He wasn't really a star at the time. His father was the king of the hill back in old Nollywood.
I think I want to argue that Yul was in that old Nollywood. He was there. The father was, even when the father showed up in Nollywood, the father was automatically a legend playing with the young ones at the time.
Yeah, but if you think about old Nollywood in quotes, I don't think you will call 20, 30, 50 people and you will not, your username will not show up.
Just because I don't think he has been that outstanding even as an actor.
He's the one who is shading the man now.
Boom. Can we just go to the next story? Let me leave.
Exactly.
Yul,
okay.
I'm your fan. Oh, don't vex. So
we love you, Yul.
Yeah, we love
Maybe
you.
not really. Anyway, what will be the next story? It's
Grammys. Okay, so straight to the point.
Yes.
I see what people did on Twitter.
What they did.
Saying that Burna Boy lost the Grammy. Burna Boy did not lose the Grammy.
It was never his. They don't put up
yes, I don't know why they just say Burna Boy lost the Grammy. I walked into the studio this morning and Oris here was telling that, man, you dropped 2 points. What does that even mean? We didn't even have the 2 points in the first place. So Burna didn't have the Grammy in the first place and did not lose anything. All that happened was that he did not win the Grammy. Someone else won. I mean, that he did not. Well, I mean, it wasn't just him.
But you know, now part of the problem is that Burna Boy as a human being has a very fraught relationship with the Nigerian audience today.
On Twitter.
Everywhere. Even I like Burna Boy. I like his music exceptionally, but I cannot say that I'm a friend or a fan of the person. You play me his Alone, the song from his song in the Wakanda soundtrack
franchise.
You play me On the Low from I think it's the first solo album. You know, you play me Burna. All of these great songs. You know, I dance to them. I listen to them. Like, you know what, this guy super talented. At least I think he's more talented than most of the people in the industry. But still, his antics, I cannot frankly accept that as something I cannot accept what he does as something that somebody who is in the position that he is in should do. The thing about stamping people on the head, we're trying to climb the stage, which I don't support climbing stages anyway, but that kind of like a violent response to it just feels to like dude, really, what is happening here? You get the fact that people on your friend list or your like entourage shooting people in the club. That's another thing.
Like a lot of negative.
Why always you get so? And I think that the fact that people talk about some of these things that he's done outside of the music gets to him, and he responds in kind. You understand? Exactly. So it means that, of course, him and Nigerian people are just like guy, this guy. So once it came out that he had 2 nominations, it was a big deal, which is a big deal for a Nigerian artist, and then he didn't win. He made other people who have been holding who are always distractors. All these detractors will show up and say, you know what? Yes, you did not win. One. Two, let's not forget that Burna Boy belongs to a triumvirate, a trinity of big Nigerian artists. If you are a fan of Wizkid, a percentage of people who are fans of Wizkid are not fans of Davido or Burna Boy.
Yeah.
A percentage of people who are Davido fans are not fans of Burna Boy or Wizkid. So it means that if you combine those two camps, you get against a Burna Boy who has lost something, they find there's an opportunity to actually attack this guy. They will take
advantage.
Yes, exactly, and they will do what they need to do. This is minus people who like the man but have a problem with him. So it means that there's a lot of people in Nigeria who feel like, you know what, this guy is the enemy. So now that he has
some
lost,
people don't want him to win. Some people don't want him to win so that because they know that
they also know
if he wins,
that
is it.
You know how Burna Boy talks. Exactly. And you know, of course, if he wins again, even if, of course, the people who, people who talk about these things, and I won't lie, I'm one of them, who say, you know what, in my own view, Burna Boy is really the only person, in my view, that has a real, in quotes, a real Grammy, because for his own work. A lot of people have gotten the plaque because they were on other people's songs or albums. That's a different thing entirely, you get. But the fact of the matter is that, as it stands, as we speak now, there is, in this new generation of musicians, there is Burna Boy with a Grammy, there's now Tems with a Grammy, there's Wizkid with a Grammy.
I said that last week, by the way. Ori said that. So when he said, Tems won a Grammy, and then before I now bought it and I said, no, it's a nomination. I said, okay, so just in case, you guys should go back to say that I said it. Yes, and actually, that's exactly what it is.
Exactly. So we have three people. Each of them, you would say, they have one each. If you want to talk about the quality of the Grammy, then we can answer discussing the nitty-gritty. But the fact of the matter is that if Burna Boy had won again this year, he would have two. A clear distinction from his people, from both Tems and Wizkid.
Facts.
Outright. And so it will look again like, this guy, and you know how Burna Boy is. There's a time when he would let you understand who he is. Exactly. If he's now clearly the person he's not the only one. He won two of the greatest award in
music in the world.
So that's what people who beef Burna Boy were trying to say, please let him not win this thing. If he wins this thing, we will not hear word in this country again. Look at Tems. Tems did not even won the Grammy at the time, and Tems calling herself a goat because Snoop was asking her for a collaboration. You get? So imagine that then Burna Boy now wins for two of his own songs, of his own projects. Forget it. Nigeria will not contain anybody. So that's kind of what people who were saying that I beg this guy not win. That's kind of what they were thinking. I won't lie, I understand it, but at the same time, I feel like leave this guy alone. The man has tried, you know. But I just feel like, the problem is also part of his own behavior. Is also part of why people have this strong reaction towards this loss. So the people that won the best, the global music one, the last category was Walter Kellerman, Zix Bantwini, and Nomsebo Zikode. I think that's a South African group of people, so to speak. Because I think it's three different entities actually that got that. So but it's not about who, whatever. I've always felt like when it comes to the certain categories, if all of the categories, but especially with the ones that are like not mainstream categories like the Grammys, the winners or the person, I don't think the Academy knows enough about African music. And let's not forget again that African music or world music is not just Nigeria, it's not just Africa.
Yes.
It's Africa, it's like the Caribbean, it's Southern Africa, Southern America. You get all of these culture. So far, it's not something that they can identifiably think of as one of their music. You belong in like the world music category. So that's kind of how it works. So we remember that one. Then two, I've always felt that for an album, for a song like Last samples a Tony Braxton song. Does anybody remember where Tony Braxton's from? She's American. How do you want to win a category that especially says that this thing belongs to sounds that are not recognized as American music per se? How do you want to win it really? So in my own view, it was always going to be a very difficult thing for Last to win. It samples an American song. So it was, honestly, I just feel like that was part of the thing, but minus the politics, but that was a major reason why it looked unlikely that Burna Boy would win that category.
So this is another major news that we have to go rush through. Basically our last story for the day. Seun Kuti versus
it's a shame that this is short. We are almost out of time, but this is a big story.
Okoye from the Psquare. So background story. Seun Kuti granted an interview with a media house where he was. I mean, one of some of the parts that were, or one a basic part that was highlighted in that interview was the fact that he said that Peter Obi, who is the presidential candidate of Labour Party, who is also very popular on social media and probably outside as well, that he's an opportunist. Yes, that that he's not particularly as a good candidate or a good person or fit to be president of this country and so on and whatnot. He also said that no president, like none of the candidates, is what's it called? None of the candidates can save Nigeria. There's only Nigerians that can save Nigeria, which now brought a lot of questions about. Wait, so all the candidates that are now running for president, are they not Nigerians?
That was what Peter Okoye said.
So that was
non-intellectual Peter Okoye, by the way.
Oris,
my beef is clear.
calm down. So Peter now reacted, saying that, "Oh, what are you saying? Are you saying these people are, like Peter Oris just said?" But and then this small comment too now escalated to become like a full-blown war. Like people were throwing bombs at fans, were going at each other. It has been trending for the almost 12 hours, going to 24 hours so far. Now the question is, why has it gone so far? Because Peter woke up yesterday morning and then decided to go all guns and I don't know, calling out Seun's family, trying to pitch. I mean, and then like I said, what I didn't like was the fact that even making his own point, he mentioned Burna Boy, saying that Burna Boy is, our music has gone global, including Burna Boy, and then also mentioned Made Kuti, saying that Seun needs to learn from his nephew Made Kuti, and so come on, that Made Kuti is groomed or maybe well trained or something, and then also went ahead to say that Seun has destroyed his father's legacy
by saying that all Nigerians can whatever.
I mean, so like a lot of low blows, so to speak, like a lot of disrespect, a lot of not to Seun himself, but to the family or to the Kuti family, basically. It was just really, really messy, and I feel like everybody, like I said when we were on air earlier, that everybody should have a right to their opinion. Like you can say however you feel, no matter, regardless of who the candidate is. You can say whatever you feel about anybody or about the situation of the country. You have a right to support whoever you want to support as an electorate. You have a right to your opinion, so long as it's not criminal. Even if it's criminal itself, it's still your right to say or state how you feel about the situation. And if it's a criminal offense, the law will do its thing. But I also don't believe that individuals, like I can have an opinion. I don't believe that we should come and insult me or come and talk to me to my face in something that I did not mention his name on in the first place. I have to bring back Burna Boy and Mr. 2K incident from how many?
How are you connecting it, please?
This is how I'm going to connect it. Burna Boy did an interview saying something about pastors. Maybe pastors not stealing money, Nigerian pastors stealing money, or Nigerian pastors deceiving their members or something like that of that nature. I can't really quote him on it, but it was something that had to do with, it was a religious statement that he made during that interview. And then Mr. 2K granted an interview as well, saying that what Burna Boy said did not make sense. Why would you say this about pastors? That pastors are men of God who you must respect. And Burna Boy did not like that statement, and he said something about you. When I see you anywhere, keep up that energy. This is your opinion that you have about me or what you said about me as well. Yeah. You should keep up with that energy. That was what caused one of those things that happened in 2017 or 18.
A while ago.
2018, yeah, a while ago. So, which is why I brought that as reference, say about when somebody has an opinion, don't come and say what the person said does not make sense. That's the person's opinion. Try as much as possible. You can say whatever you want to say against that statement without even mentioning that person's name. So I feel like Peter left his lane and came on Seun Kuti's lane by saying that what you said does not make sense.
But I don't know that I agree with this. So
Go ahead.
I feel like I also made the point on radio earlier that every 4 years in Nigeria, everybody's relationship with certain people are kind of reconfigured. Friends, especially friends, a lot of friends become enemies over the political cycle. So it means that at the point in which two musicians were talking about politics and one of them said something, somebody else from somewhere was always going to react to that thing. Peter has been very vocal about the support of Peter Obi. That's Peter Kell supporting Peter
Yes.
Obi, you know. And so when Seun said what he said, I guess Peter Obi, it felt like to Peter Okoye that, you know how this thing is, you support somebody. It's like the level of fandom. Because I am a fan of Davido, you say something against Davido, I feel like
I don't even say fandom, say fanatism.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but
Because
it's like, you know,
it's
it's like
extreme.
yeah, but you're like, because I like this person, you said it. So it just feels to me like end of the day, you are kind of attacking me or insulting me because of how closely I
Or for who I'm
associate with other person.
yes.
Yes, you know exactly. So that's the thing. I like James so much. If I hear you say something bad about James, I want to challenge you and say, you know what, that thing where you say no makes sense. I'm not a violent person, so I won't hit you.
Yeah.
But people who are violent might say, you the Chris, find anything slap, poof, trouble. You get. So I feel like in elections, candidates become superstars, and people who identify themselves by choosing these people feel a personal affront when somebody makes a comment about that person. So when Seun made his comment about Peter Obi, and Peter Okoye has been super vocal about his support of Peter Obi, it was inevitable that he was going to react in a very, well, I don't know what is unkind manner, and that's how we got to this position. So I see what you are saying, James.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, we can't expect people to be neutral when election time comes. You feel like this thing is too important that I cannot let this thing go. If somebody had heard what Seun said, and that person is convinced to not vote Peter Okoye will feel like I should have said something about it. Maybe try and won't change this other person's mind from hearing what this guy has said. So that's kind of how these things just escalate. So, but as it stands currently, like I said it before and I'll say it again, me, people say I should be impartial or I should not choose sides.
Yeah.
My own side is clear. I'm on the side of the intellectual, and I listened to Seun at length. He spoke for quite a long. I saw several videos of him speaking, and I have to say that the man made 300% sense. You know, the thing he said about, I don't know if that's why, because he said the reason why Peter doesn't like him is because he speaks against gambling, and as everybody probably is aware, there was a period in which Peter was online every day or every week, getting people to like bet and for gifts on one of these betting gambling platforms, and Seun is particularly against the idea of gambling. So Seun was saying you cannot take advice from a person who is asking you to do something that's dangerous to your health. I won't lie, I totally get it, you know. But again, and the other thing it says again is like, Peter Okoye is a person who, beyond or apart from this particular moment, it feels to us that he's a guy whose first affinity is to money. And Seun made the point that if it was clear that this is this person's first loyalty is to money, because he was willing to talk shit, just as his brother was willing to talk shit about him as well when they had their issue. And the central problem there was money. So they had that twin where Jude, their elder brother, and the twin, Peter and Paul, had all of those many issues. And people said, whatever they wanted to say online over that whole thing, talking about each other's wives, all of those things. And he was saying that it should not be right for you to take advice from somebody whose own loyalty is to money. I understand that as well, you know, because I know that we're in a country where somebody acquires money instantly. We assume he acquires intelligence. We assume he acquires some kind of sufficient power to change things. We assume the person is like this genius. We assume the person is supposedly morally upright as well, just because he has money. And I feel like in this particular case, it's clear that these people do not have that moral dignity, that moral rectitude, you know, to be able to like say, hey, what I say should be something that you want to do. And this is somebody again who repeatedly online broaches people. You have any argument with Peter Okoye, one of the things he's talking about immediately is that I have money, you know, whatever happens to Nigeria, me and my family, we are fine. I have cars, I have houses abroad and everything you get. Meanwhile, you say this as somebody who we are supposed to listen to. Meanwhile, you belong to a poor country, which means that 80% of the people you are speaking to have too little money. So how are you making this the subject of what you're talking about online? And now that he's doing an election, you want us to take you seriously. Seun pointed this out, and for me, that makes a lot of sense. The whole Adobe name attacks about, you know, I don't know about that one. But when it comes to like the points he was making about taking Peter Okoye's word for it, I cannot even deny that thing makes a lot of sense to me. And that's why I'm like, you know what? I fuck with Seun Kuti.
So one of the things that Peter said again, trying to say, oh, because you got a Grammy nomination, does not make you.
Doesn't mean yes, doesn't exactly.
So that one I disagree with that. The truth is that if Seun's music was not a big deal, so I can understand if Peter is not a fan of Seun or has never paid attention to Seun's music. But I mean, I listened to Black Time's album. That's like one of the best albums that's come out.
Yes, those guys. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I won't I want to also lie. A chunk of Seun Kuti's capital is from his father. No doubt. But nobody gives you a Grammy nomination just because your father was somebody who is famous. Well, you might get a little bit of it, but I think he's nominated like twice. Okay, I think he once. Femi has nominated a bunch of times too. You get even my dad as well.
Yes.
That family is still making music that matters to, if not to you, to certain people somewhere.
Yeah.
Like the person who won the Burna Boy category, for instance. Hardly people know him. He's a Japanese guy. The album won.
Yeah.
I think Masato Takumi. Yeah. Nobody really knows the guy. But he would win it, and there's a reason why he's won it. So there are people somewhere who feel like what he's done is important. And let's not remember, something again that's funny about this thing. Like people like Peter Okoye, people like the Psquare boys, they speak about their popularity. And to be honest, you can't argue that one. All of us that were in school, university, at the time when they had their 3-4 albums, you can't deny that shit was like a hit.
Yes.
But one thing that happens almost with every artist is once you make a lot of money from your art, the next step for you is you want prestige, you want respect.
Yes.
And now that these people, Psquare is merely repudiating something that they cannot win. That's really what is happening. You talk shit about the Grammys, you know in your heart that you want the Grammy. Because it's the peak of your freaking field. You want it, but you cannot touch it. I remember very vividly, people forget this. Back in the day, I think in the 2000s, there was a time when...
Always upset.
Yes, I am upset, There was a time when Psquare were on my television begging for votes to win the Mamas. That thing, I saw that advert my own self. It's not somebody did not tell me. I saw that advert myself. I saw it once on TV. They didn't. I don't think they even won that particular category. They were begging people to vote for. I don't think they
won almost all the awards in Africa. They probably did.
Okay, but that particular one, I honestly doubt that they won that particular one. I probably won't use the first time they were nominated, maybe, because I remember seeing the two of them asking other people to vote for them, blah blah blah, because of course Nigerians are plenty, So I'm like, you who back in the day when you people felt like your music was good enough, you were asking for a continental award. Somebody is getting nominated for for the highest one in the world, and you are making it look like it's something. He said Grammys in the trenches. Seun Kuti lives in Allen. It is not trenches. It's not Adegunle. Those people are fine.
No, that I think that's just an ignorant term, because some of those, just I'm saying that sometimes when there's this type of this field, you just
people just say whatever you want to say. Exactly.
Yeah. So can we, but I need to also establish here. I mean, against what Peter was saying about Seun destroyed his father's legacy. I think that's a very disrespectful statement. That's a low blow. And then no matter what the statement is, no matter how you want to even express, no matter how you want to hit or jab at Seun, you need to be careful not to disrespect Fela's legacy. What Fela has done for African music.
That you say a statement from his son.
You should never ever. All of that. We don't care whether Seun, whose what's called legacy are they going to fly on or ride on at the end of the day. You can only, how else can you continue Fela's legacy if the children are not doing are not continuing from where their father stopped? You may not be a fan of Seun's music or of the Kuti's family music and everything, but I just feel like as far as Fela and Nicola, no longer Nicola, but Fela Kuti, right? Is it Nicola? No, okay, yeah, one took out his ransom, yes. So long as Fela and Nicola Kuti is concerned, whether family or the man himself or the music, I feel like we should leave it as sacred as it is.
It's untouchable.
It's untouchable. Look, whether Grammy or no Grammy, no matter who the African artist, Nigerian artist is, I'm just being careful, using my word carefully.
That's fine.
No Nigerian artist has even achieved half of what Fela has achieved even after his death. Plus the music, plus the respect, the things that he talked about. I just feel like the influence. Look, I just feel like you can fight with Seun, but leave Fela, leave his legacy out of it. You can fight. In fact, if you want, look for Seun. You can get Seun's address. If you go to Ali and say, where does Seun live? Everybody his house at you, and then you can go and deal with that. But leave Fela out of it. Let's respect that. See, we don't have a lot of people. Look, you see, like Michael Jackson, should I say Elvis Presley. This is not comparing. I'm just saying that there are a certain kind of persons that thrive. Is it thrive or
That's
that
a good one, yeah.
rule or that just gets a certain position in a lifetime or a generation, and Fela is that person for not just Africa, in the world. So this is not idolizing Fela. I'm not so much.
It's idolizing. It's fine. It's fine to idolize Fela. I'm just saying that people forget.
Please,
This man was
don't
writing the
disrespect
music.
Fela.
The music.
He was
for
writing
his
the
drummer,
music.
Is everybody. You know what that thing is? How
Please.
people can write music today in pop music?
The Afro beats that we're talking about
Please,
today,
let's
Afro
leave-
beats. So
let's
this
leave the guy.
this Afro beats has been a struggle that people had to punch it in. They had to force it in to become Afro beats and say it's an S, and they emphasize the Afro beats. This is what you all have been like. A lot of I'm not disrespecting. This is what everybody has been trying to tap into, and then finally somebody coined the word Afro beats, and everybody just boom, that is it. And this is how they've been able to connect it directly to Fela, and this is the same connecting to the greatness that Fela
He died
is.
97. Let's not forget 97.
Do you understand?
Please.
So please, no matter what you say,
nothing Shehu says can touch his
Sheu's
father's legacy.
opinion is his opinion,
Yeah,
and you
cannot
cannot
touch
say
his
that's
legacy.
because that's making a mess.
Can
So I think
erase
that
his
that's
father's
too much of a
legacy.
low blow. You can never. And so please,
But
let's
there's
be
one thing
guided.
which I said. I mean, even if I am on Shehu's side, the whole thing about the Igbo smoking. Take it easy.
Oh no! That's not. Oh, how dare you! See, the Igbo smoking, the smoke. No, that's not even. See, if it was that one, it would still be. He now said again that the Kalakuta shrine where they did that place is only for Igbo smokers.
They don't come for music. They
No.
just-
That's also another low blow. You know, that will offend even Femi Kuti. So, but guys, nobody. We're not even our platform. We will never promote or support illicit use of drugs.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
we are Jesus boys.
you have your right. So if you feel like like to smoke, that is your own choice.
James is saying, I mean, if you like to smoke, don't smoke.
That is your choice. I cannot tell you that I'm not your moral. This is soldier or police.
I am your moral police. It's me.
This guy smokes other things. Though he doesn't smoke it
I
in
don't know.
public.
I don't know what he's talking about.
he-
I have absolutely no idea what he's talking about.
He smoked my muffins this morning. Anyway, we gotta go, guys.
All right, yeah, we gotta go.
Support who you want to support. If you have your PVC, because even for some people that
Yes.
you want to tweet and you want to take a side.
Support-
If you don't have your PVC, you don't even have a right to be calm and talking.
Support them, but also support us by commenting, subscribing,
yes.
and liking and sharing, please.
You
Thank
can
you
choose
very much.
Seun Kuti, you can choose
Exactly.
Peter.
But
It
choose
doesn't
us.
matter. But
Choose James and Ori show.
we are not the bad guys. Just choose our show where we analyze these things. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yes,
right?
on the next one, exactly. We will do
It's
exactly
James
that.
Silas. It's
and
Oris. Instagram James Silas. Instagram Catch
Oris
Oris.
Gram.
Twitter.
Catch Oris.
James Silas as well. Twitter
Yes, Catch Oris.
Catch Oris. Thank you for watching.